Brother really calling you?
Yeah, that's
Master J.
Yeah, Master J.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. I didn't recognize it. I should have known.
When you said that to my brother, I was like, oh, nice.
He was a big Run DMC fan.
I remember that. I just didn't recognize that as Jam Master J. That's funny.
Yeah, Jeff's got the good one, but I took it down. Perfect. I like that, so then I don't have to go look at my phone.
Who is this?
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Okay.
Make sure it's not stranded somewhere.
Somehow. Is that unusual? They may be stranded.
I don't think that's one of them hanging up.
Oh, he did that on purpose.
Probably.
When people listen to your entire voicemail, just hang up. A message, and there's nothing. This is great. Let's move everything around. I'm Jeff.
Jeff. Okay.
Oh, of course.
Got that. I got it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have those two questions on. Okay.
I'll bring my piece of wood.
So, go get your chair. Forgot about the lawyer coming, I guess.
No way.
I warmed up the chair. That was one good. Oh, okay.
Hi. How are you? Hi. Papers, everything.
That's okay.
Just realized that the wiring.
Reading the book, can you see?
I can. Good for you.
Anything, and I just feel like,
All the time.
oh, really?
That's not for you.
Well, let me tell you, when you get to retirement, you'll start out with, you think, oh, what am I gonna do? And then everything starts happening. Everything, well, you know, especially when it gets house. Jack said they're full of he's in the old house right now, the high school. He said it's kind of awesome. He already broke his personal record. It's like, the Brian Clark is working, coaching.
Yeah.
Busy still, or?
He totally changed his approach. So, having your coach,
Well, my Isaiah's doing, gonna do it again this year. He told me he wanted to run a mile this year. And I was like, you want to do what? I hear you. So, okay.
it's like, you know, having a coach might make a big difference in things, you
Oh,
know?
yeah, it does.
Especially when you need technique and things like that, so, yeah, I think that's gonna help him.
Make it bold every day.
Yeah, if you cut down a tree, yeah, when you cut down that tree, make sure you get some wood.
Oh, yeah,
He's
I
making
will.
a bowl, he makes a bowl every day. He turns a bowl every day.
I give some of
What are you doing with all these bowls? She gave one to me.
But see, the thing, well, you know me, I turn everything into a business. I'm like, okay, I think we can have people, like trees that are cut down, and you can make something for their kids that lived in the house to give to them when they get married.
That's what we're gonna do with the
See, I got
willow.
all these ideas. Everything turns into a business.
When that willow ends up dying because they ruined it.
No.
Or he has.
Since I'm banned from automotive for 5 years.
Oh.
Because I
Yeah.
decided no compete
Yeah.
when I sold it, so. That's okay.
You don't wanna go back and do that anyway?
Maybe something girly this time.
No, these are something girly. So all those bills you guys got? I don't know what, I mean, girly, but here. You guys are gonna approve the bills? Open up, you're gonna approve them out loud, but then you're gonna sign them, cause this is you signing all of these bills. Cause then these go with this, to show that you signed all those. That's why if you have any questions, anything you wanna hang up.
But not everything decorates every holiday like me. You know, we got Valentine's out now, that'll come down, and St. Patrick's Day will go away.
Down at the brewery, they have red and purple lights across the top. For Valentine's, I guess. They're really, it's cute, but.
Huh,
I think it's easy.
yeah.
So what you're saying is we can't write ourselves checks, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Dave said, Washington DC at a police convention. Is it some sort of police, do you know what he's at?
It's a fraternal order of police.
Dave. Fraternal order.
It's a fraternal order of police.
He's in Washington DC. Yes. See, he's a legislative leader for the fraternal order of. I just thought I saw a truck. Big blue truck? No, that's his. Dave doesn't have a blue truck anymore. He has a gray truck. Okay, do you know that?
Well, your witness trucks?
I read online. I read that online.
That what?
We almost had one on our,
Worked for the county for his own, it's a truck.
Sign me up.
Hilarious.
I printed it off even to. See.
He's got everything in there. Give it a while.
it only burned for like 5
I think we've gotten through the day. No. I don't know. I scared him. I don't know. If they're not each other here, or the lawyer here. Huh?
I've seen that.
That's Aaron's stuff. That's Aaron's stuff. That's Chris. That's Chris's chair. And that's Aaron's.
Thank you. You're here. Oh, something else?
I'll need copies of those to put in my file.
Oh, yeah.
Well used.
Several stickers. I don't know. Kids do these things.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
How you doing?
Remember his dad? He's Janelle's high school. She responded to
We have a timer on
No,
your
I
phone.
don't. She might.
Would you mind running a 30-minute timer? Just for public comment.
She was in
I'll tell you
track.
when to go. I'll do a 5-minute one.
Oh, you're gonna do that? Okay. I'm gonna get ready to turn this. I'm gonna The April meetings are always different, so I always make sure I put them on my phone a year in advance. Oh, you do it 23. Right up on the hill. Just see some of the ones that are coming up.
It goes off so I could see.
Who should bring up now? Here, bring up this is the order. This is how I want it. If you don't do it, I'll do it. What? Thank you. You are. That's what we're doing. We're fixing.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Let's stand and recite the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone for public comment? Seeing none? Oh, I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Okay. I'll skip the introduction, you know full well who I am. I notice on this list is a handful of things, right? Approval of tentative budgets. I don't see where that budget is. I have no information on it. We can't comment on it before you vote on it. There is an awful lot of grousing about the frequency of Freedom of Information Act requests. That problem would go away entirely if you had a website and you put basic financial information online instead of forcing residents to file FOIA requests, often more than one because we're not all sharing records, for information that we should just have, right? Especially if you'd like us to contribute intelligently to what this budget proposal is. But all I have is a bullet item in here. I've got nothing to respond to. But I'll talk about the road budget because there's some interesting data about the road funds. There are two property tax lines that the road fund can levy to. One, which has to be shared with the village because the village maintains roads within village territory. The township maintains roads outside of it. The second fund does not. The property tax levy has been shifting to that second fund, thus creating a double taxation issue where we're paying now both the township and the village property tax dollars to maintain some of the same roads. This kind of attention to detail is much more warranted than it has been in the past. In last year's report, there's a financial report, you guys wrote a $100,000 check, or there was a $100,000 wire to IMRF, the pension fund of which primarily only the elected officials of the township are members of. That corresponds to about $1.2 million of salary. If that is a purchase credit at some point, the number being round is suspicious on its own right. The scale of the number defies credulity. I certainly think that's an item that bears some clarity on why that large dollar amount was sent to IMRF for benefits of where the salaries are $25,000 and less, unless we're talking about the road commissioner, and that's $70,000, which is all much less than $1.2 million. So unfortunately, since there's no records, there'll be another FOIA on that. You have elected to have a law firm respond to by printing things out and sending them the postage mail, doing this in the most expensive way possible. There is a much better way to run this railroad, and you really ought to be doing that, and it would save a whole lot more OMA and FOIA public access complaints and lawsuits.
Can I ask him a question?
If you choose.
Okay, what are you referring to when you were talking about that in the budget?
Which part, the road fund or the IMRF payment?
Well, the IMRF payment, who are you referring to exactly?
I have,
Salaries or, because when you generally say the township board, who are you referring to?
both of you, well, the township board approves the expenses for both,
Right,
right? So you can ask that question. I don't know anything more except that I just have a financial export from QuickBooks that says August 4th, 2022, no check number, Mahomet IMRF, $100,000. But all the other payments are $1,000 and less.
okay,
So normally, IMRF is about 8% of salary in lieu of Social Security, I presume. So if you get paid $25,000 a year, you would pay 20, no, not 20. I haven't had enough coffee to do that math. But it'd be a couple $1,000s over the year for that salary. 8% of 100,000 is about 1.2 million in salary, right? So
and you
I don't know where this number comes from, but it's not a pension contribution based off of salary because you have $2 million in the bank, but you're not doing $2 million to spend it. And it's certainly not on all payroll because most of it, there's a fair amount of equipment that the road district pays for, which is its own subject of inquiry by the state police right now. I mean, I could show you the budget sheet, you know, that I have with it circled. You know, I just have an image on my phone.
so you picked that up here tonight?
It's a FOIA request. No,
Oh,
this is based
okay.
off a FOIA request.
Okay,
All right, so this is an export from your, I assume you guys use QuickBooks, and this is from your pension fund, you know.
okay, not my
That number.
pension fund.
Well,
sir.
the agency's pension contribution, $100,000.
Okay, all right, so you want to know where that money's.
Yeah, that number is way out of whack. Two more digits to that number than anything that's ever been spent that I recall looking at.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Jeff Wilson. Thanks for having the meeting tonight. Thanks for allowing me to say 2 seconds or 2 minutes of comments. I'm Jeff Wilson. I live here in Mahomet, and I'm on the county board, District 1. Thanks for your vote if you voted for me, and thanks for your vote if you didn't vote for me. Thank you that you voted. So anyway, I guess my question was brought to my concern as now a newly elected individual on the county board. A couple people have brought to my concern a couple things. And I don't really think it's within the purview of the county board, but I just wanted to ask a couple questions you may not answer, or just to think about. I understand in the General Assistance Fund there's about $250,000. And my question is, how is the township using that? Because I'm hearing that there's some need in our township, like with respect to Candlewood, et cetera, and the additional rent payments they have forced upon them. Is there a way that the township can move forward and help those individuals? I believe by statute there's a limited amount of money allowed to be in the General Assistance Fund, and it's only supposed to grow at a certain incremental rate over time. So that kind of begs the question, why is it $225,000? And there's something the township could do to help relieve those people that are particularly in need at this time. So,
Can I
thank
address
you.
that since I was at that meeting?
If you choose to, you're more than welcome.
I went to the meeting that was at the library with a lot of people from Candlewood. And at that time, we gave out the general assistance applications. And, you know, there'd been a lot of things about these people needing water, needing monies, this and that. We gave out 100 applications. We received 4 back. And in going through, Aaron takes care of that, going through the book with the guidelines on general assistance. No one qualified for the general assistance. I know in talking and listening at that meeting, listening at the meeting, another meeting before that, that the general assistance has really strict guidelines and how you can spend that money. And that's why that money has grown. And the only way that that can be changed is for Chapin Rose to put a bill forward to change how that money can be spent. So at that meeting and wherever I've had the opportunity, I have encouraged people to contact his office and let them know that they'd like to see those things changed so that townships can help people when they have the money to help people.
Thank you for your response. So then that would beg the second question.
I would also like to concur that same information. I had a separate conversation
Yeah.
with Chapin Rose about the exact same question, and I was given the same answer from Chapin Rose that there's a law that needs to be changed to untie the hands of townships to be able to
Release the money?
release some of that money in less strict. The
More
I guess-
relaxed guidelines.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you. So then that begs the second question then. Second question then is, if we're not using it, why would we still add to that pool and just provide some marginal tax relief to the people that are actually putting money into that pool? Just a thought to consider. Why put more money in there if you're not using it? If it's just sitting there accruing interest, just let it accrue interest until you could use it. Just keep and stop adding to that pool and use the money, or not tax the township for money that there's not even being used for. Any comment? Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Hi.
You guys are all new, you weren't here last year, this has been going on for over a year. We had brought to attention that all of our culverts were being delivered to Central Culvert for a period of about 10 years. Almost all the culverts, not all of them, but I would say more than 90%. At that time, I simply asked if we could find out where all these culverts had went, because they're gone. I have pictures from Google for over the past 10 years. We did a FOIA request asking for all the invoices and all the statements. We were given all the statements and 2 invoices for a year. For 10 years, I believe it was. The ones that were missing, we figured out why they were probably missing, because they were all stated delivered to Central Culvert per Chris Dentz. So in the back of the room, Chris's wife was sitting the 2 times this was brought up, and she said she can account for all these culverts. She's publicly stated it in 2 of these meetings. So we requested again documentation to where all these culverts have been installed, permits, fees that have been taken for putting them in. Now the township doesn't have any records. So I'm asking you guys, can you guys do something about this and find out where they're at and get to the bottom of it? Because it just keeps getting kicked around and nothing's done about it. When in fact, there's well over $100,000 worth of culverts that they can't account for. That seems to be a huge problem. In fact, 1 year alone was $55,000. Anybody in this room that knows anything about township knows that you don't spend $55,000 a year on township culverts. It has not been answered. So could somebody please find out for us so we can quit asking? It would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, my name's Kirk Allen. I'm going to sidebar from what the county board member brought up. As a former township supervisor, general assistance is one criteria. You as a board have the power to do what's called emergency assistance. I don't know if everybody knows that, but emergency assistance is exactly what you would refer to in the case of the emergency when those people had a need. There is an amount that can be done for that. There's a limit to how much you can do it and how often. I believe it's once in a year. And the board sets the amount of what that emergency assistance is. It's completely outside the general assistance guidelines. It's a separate program. And it doesn't go through the criteria of general assistance in the, which is basically the form of public welfare. It's the lowest form of public aid. And it's hard to approve it because if you're on any other program, you don't you don't qualify for general assistance. I'm sure you know that as a supervisor. If you've been through a GA class, they usually cover what emergency assistance is and what the other is. The board can set the emergency assistance. I was here several months ago, and I asked the road commissioner a couple of questions. He chose not to answer. I get that. I commend you for answering the gentleman's questions and interacting, because it really helps get to the root of where the lack of communication is. And sometimes that's all it is, the lack of communication. But your road commissioner has refused to answer questions. You folks have been approving bills and paying for culverts. I challenge you to identify the number of culverts in this township. What is the total number? How many replaced in the last year, 2 years, versus how many have been purchased and delivered to his private business? Because the math doesn't seem to add up. The other side of it, why aren't we using motor fuel tax to pay for culverts? Might be a question you want to get answered. This motor fuel tax has to be approved by the county engineer. That's more oversight. Maybe they don't want eyes on that. Now, I'll throw out another hypothetical. I've been told that multiple members on this board are armed and dangerous. Is that true? When you hear that, what's your initial reaction? Anybody? Ma'am, you're armed and dangerous. What would you say?
Now, how do you know that?
Perfect. Someone told me. Someone told me. Does that amount to anything? No. But I sat in 2 days of hearings of an employee of this road district who made accusations against a citizen and said he was armed and dangerous. How do you know? Well, someone told me. He's off his meds. How do you know? Someone told me. Not a single shred of evidence of anything she said. Nothing. She's employed in this road district, and she's your road district highway commissioner's wife. And there's a lot of answers that I beg of you to read the transcript from those hearings, because they're going to come right back to this board that's approving bills. Because there's statements that were made there, both by her and other witnesses, that are very problematic financially for what's going on here. And I said when I was here, I think it was in September, we're going to continue to try to get to the bottom of it, and we're still waiting on response on some FOIAs for some fees that, according to police reports, we still haven't seen the fees. Haven't seen that a response to that FOIA. Who's paying it? Is the township paying it, or is their company paying it? I really urge you folks to dig into that and get some answers, because y'all are going to have egg on your face over whatever he's doing on the road district side. Last item, statement of economic interest. Your road commissioner hasn't filed but 2 of them in the last 20 plus years. I haven't asked for any of the other board members, because that's not what we were looking into. But there's a requirement, there's a penalty if you don't. The 2 that he filed, both of them are false and incomplete. Both of them. That's a problem. Why are they false and incomplete, and why hasn't he been filing them like he's required to by law? I don't know the answer to that, but the appearance is he doesn't want to disclose stuff, and he darn sure didn't disclose his private business. That's all I got. Thank you.
Can you tell me where I can find out about emergency assistance?
Yes, ma'am. In the township code,
Uh-huh.
actually it's in the public aid code.
Okay.
I believe section 3, maybe section 6. I get that one and the road commissioners mixed up. But in the public aid code, it outlines townships.
Okay.
And it describes what can be done there, and I believe that's where you'll find the emergency assistance.
Okay.
And a key way to, if you go to the statute, just do a keyword search, emergency, and it'll pull up every place that word appears in that statute, and that's the quickest way to find it.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. approving the bills for the road district. Everyone received a copy of the bills from the road district. Is there any discussion for the road district bills or questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve. Second.
Okay, for the vote, Linda McDonald,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Steve. All right.
I get to vote also.
Oh,
Yes. You all received a copy of the town bills. Is there any discussion or questions about the town bills? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
all right, for a vote, Lindy.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes. Cemetery fund. You all received a copy of the bills for the cemetery fund. Are there any questions? Are there any discussion? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All right, vote, Lindy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Steve, Aaron.
Yes. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting dated December 2nd, 2020. Sorry. Entertain a motion, sorry. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting dated December 7th, 2022. Sorry.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so for a vote on that, Lindy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Steve, Aaron.
Yes. We will vote to enter into a closed session pursuant to Section 2C11 to discuss litigation within an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the township has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the township find that an action is probable or imminent, and to include a discussion about the review of 2022 closed session minutes. And we need a roll call.
Okay.
Oh, we need a motion first, I'm sorry. We need a motion in a second.
Second.
And now we need a roll call.
Lindy? Lindy?
Here.
Oh, yes, Jeff,
Yes.
Phil,
Yes.
Steve, Aaron.
Yes. Okay,
Now we
we'll now go into closed session.
Yes.
Jeff, do I need?
All of this.
Make sure you take the recorder.
I'm just gonna turn off.
Check, check, check. Mike's back on.
Okay. All right, I'm turning them back on.
Go for it. Okay. I would entertain a motion to come out of closed session, to come into open session and out of closed session.
So moved.
Lindy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Steve, Aaron.
Yes. For the discussion in closed meeting, we have tabled all items discussed in the closed session for a future date.
These are things that you guys need to sign to approve the bills. So just put your signature on all those pages. Do you want to start this pile? I'll just do that pile, maybe. It's regarding everything in here, so the road, town, payroll, all that stuff. That was already approved, that's just your signature for it.
I'll wait till that goes through. Yeah. And I'll just hold them and give it to you again.
Say words so many times, it doesn't mean anything. It's the same with writing. It's like, what? Read it 20 times.
I'm gonna give these back to you.
I know, because I gotta stamp them before I leave. Stamp them. See them.
Okay. Approval of the 2023-2024 tentative budget for the town. I would entertain a motion to approve those. Is there a motion? Hang on, is there any discussion or any questions about that particular document? You've all received a copy of that. You've all had a chance to review it. Are there any questions or comments? Discussion? Hearing none, there's already an initial motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so, Wendy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Steve, Aaron.
Yes. Next item on the agenda, approval of the Township Road District tentative budget for 2023-24. Are there any questions or discussion regarding that particular document? You all received a copy of that? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
Roll call.
All right. Wendy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes. Old business. There is a document to amend the September 2022 regular meeting minutes. It was brought to David's attention that the salary for the deputy clerk was misstated, and there was a typo in that, so basically all that we're doing is correcting that number. It was a typo that said the salary was $18,000. That is incorrect. The actual salary is $8,100. All we're doing is changing that item. Are there any discussion? Yeah. Any discussion or questions regarding that? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve the amendment.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Wendy,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Bill,
Yep.
Steve, Aaron.
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
I'm sure you didn't need this one right here.
Oh, yeah, we did that.
You have a month to go.
Well, that's why I didn't do it. I didn't do that. Thank you for reminding me. The 2023-2024 meeting schedule, you should have in front of you. We need to approve that. Are there any comments or discussion or questions about the 2023-24 meeting schedule?
Excuse me. I believe that's a function of your electors at the annual meeting.
Oh, yeah, you were just bringing up the typo on the,
Let me see.
that one instead of
Oh, yeah, there is. There is a typo on there. So we need to, we'll have to amend this. Can we amend it? We can't amend it now. We'll have to do it at a different meeting. This is what you're talking about, correct? Because that's not that's the typo right there. Okay. We need to go ahead and, since we've talked about it, go ahead and approve. Take a roll call. Okay. On that particular item that you were sent, let me just bring you up to speed here. At the bottom of the page, it says the budget hearing is set forth for Monday, April low. It's an LO. That should be April 10th, 2023. It's a typo. We just need to make sure that everybody understands that the budget hearing is Monday, April 10th, 2023. Are there any questions or comments? We can approve it if you choose. Let's do that. Is there a motion to approve those?
What do we approve it?
The meeting, the annual meeting, or I'm sorry, the approval of the 2023 meeting schedule for the board. It's
With
just
the
the board.
correction of the L is supposed to be a 1.
Okay.
Was there a motion in a second? Okay. Roll call, please.
Okay. Lindy?
No.
Steph? Okay, here we go. Jeff?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes. That'll also come up at the annual meeting, so it's not a problem. Highway Commissioners report, there is none. Cemetery report, there is none at this point in time. Assessor, the floor is yours if you have anything you'd like to discuss.
I don't have anything right now.
Nothing from the assessor. Supervisor does have a couple of items here. I want to inform the board that the general assistance benefit on a case-by-case basis for an individual is being changed to $332, which is what is suggested by the Illinois Department of Human Services. So that's what we're using. We're using their number. So we're going to increase that. I believe it was already stated, but we gave out 100 general assistance applications in a meeting that I attended and talked with several individuals at the library. There was a meeting, and I spent 20 or 25 minutes talking with individuals about general assistance and how it works, the regulations and the rules and the things that we have to follow. Chapin Rose was in attendance. We gave out 25 applications there, and I do believe after that, there were an additional 75 applications that were delivered to the individuals so that they had an opportunity to fill out those applications. As of yesterday, 4 have been returned. I want to make the board aware that we have a very serious computer problem. David's computer crashed. My computer crashed due to a Windows update. David's computer is now up and functioning. Mine is not. And we've had professionals out several days last week doing everything they could to fix the issue, and we were eventually told that it is not a fixable issue. They are too old, and you need to get a new computer for both locations. David's computer has been replaced and restored, and he is now functioning. So we have a computer in the office that is functioning. And you'll see a bill coming through next month for that particular item. Are there any board comments at this point in time? Any other items or any other board comments? Anything at all? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Lindy?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Steve? Aaron?
Yes. Meeting is adjourned.